Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Live with the Hindu. I'm Nalme Nachiyar, and today we are here to talk about the rains that have been battering Karnataka incessantly over the past month, which have disrupted normal life in several districts. 48 people have lost their lives in the state so far in rain related incidents like landslides and floods and drowning. Crops have been affected, electrical infrastructure has been impacted, and with a lot of the dams in the state reaching full capacity, outflow has been increased, leading to flood warnings in several districts as well. Coastal and Malnad Karnataka, especially, have also been grappling with landslips, repeated landslips. There was a recent incident in Uttara Kannada in Shirur where 8 people died. There has been landslip at Sakaleshpur taluk, which has affected movement between Bengaluru and coastal Karnataka. And other highways in this route also are vulnerable to landslip. So we will discuss all of that, the impact of monsoon, the preparedness of the district administration, and the perennial issues that continue to plague the state during rains. With me, I have two of our correspondents. We have Anil Kumar Shastri from Mangaluru and Krishna Kumar from Mysuru. Hi, sir. Welcome to
Hello.
the show.
Hi. Hello. Good evening.
So, I will start with you, Anil sir. Because Dakshin Kannada has been in the news for it's experiencing torrential rains. There have been landslips also. The Netravati River is in spate. Schools and colleges have been closed. Every day we hear news of the DC, announcing that the schools and colleges are being closed. We have seen flooding in a lot of places in Bantwal yesterday, in Beltangadi today. Give me a sense of what is happening in the district. How has the monsoon impacted? An overview of this.
No, in the month of July, no, we have had very heavy rains actually, more than the normal rainfall what we used to receive. In the month of June, it is a little less, but it picked up in the month of July, and we are getting torrential rains. In the sense, what used to be the normal rainfall, no, more than that we are getting. So consequently, today also we have had floods in the district, that is in the area of Phalguni River, Phalguni or Gurupura River. Almost areas around Mangalore, Gurupura, Venur, everywhere flooding is there. Yesterday it was Netravati around Bantwal. So in this background, rains are not new to Mangaluru or Dakshina Kannada for the coastal region. But what has been amplifying the impact is the resultant landslips, loss of connectivity, road as well as rail, and jacking up of airfares by airlines using this opportunity. All those things are happening during this monsoon. So I would like to say that these things are have been seeing these things for the past, I think, some about 9 years or 10 years or so. These issues, that's loss of connectivity issues, were not much maybe a decade ago. Only during the last 1 decade these things are happening. And Mangaluru has been the commercial capital, almost commercial capital of Karnataka, because it has an all-weather port, it has an airport and rail connectivity. The all export-import trade of Karnataka takes place through Mangalore. So, but the connectivity, when it comes to connectivity, the finished goods from Bengaluru region have to come to the port. The imported goods have to move to Bengaluru and surrounding areas. The coffee, the other spices have to be exported through Mangalore. For all this, you need a robust infrastructure of road and rail. Unfortunately, for all these years, Mangalore has been lacking this robust infrastructure. That's what I'm feeling. In the last 10 years, we have been seeing frequent landslips along the National Highway 75, Bangalore National Highway 75, while occasionally the rail link, that Hassan-Mangalore rail link that extends further to Bangalore, also gets affected. So NH75 has been a crucial link because there is no other major highway connecting the coastal area to Bengaluru and surrounding regions. That's Shiradi Ghat. There are two other approaches to the coastal area. That is one is Sampaja Ghat, that is via Medicari and Mysuru NH 275, and another is Charmadi Ghat NH 73. That is Mangalore, Beltangadi, Mudigere, Chikmagalur, Tumkuru. And
Right.
of course, we have then Agumbe Ghat and then Kudremukh Ghat, all these are there. But for the movement of heavy goods vehicles, NH75, that is Shiradi Ghat, is the only available or only available option actually. So,
Okay.
yeah, this is the
Okay.
background what I can say. You can take it further.
Okay, yeah. I'll head to Krishna Kumar sir now. We will discuss because landslides are the crux of the issue here at this point, apart from floods. So,
Yeah,
Krishna Kumar sir, in Mysuru, Chamarajanagar, Kodagu also there have been heavy rains.
yeah.
There's been flooding in Kollegal Taluk, and Kodagu actually has had 24% surplus rains in July, and it has been on
So,
red alert for the
yeah.
last
Yeah.
yeah, for the last 2 days. So how is the South Interior Karnataka dealing with
See,
monsoon?
when we talk about Mandya, Mysore, Chamarajanagar, we'll keep Kodagu separate.
Yeah.
These areas are plain and they don't receive that kind of heavy rains that coastal or Malnad area receives. So basically, nothing much has been affected in Mysore, Mandya, or even Chamarajanagar. For a comparison, Mysore gets uh, about 332 millimeters of rainfall during July this year. That is 53% above normal compared to 1,721 millimeters that Kodagu received, which is again 24% above normal. If you look at Mandya, it is 188 millimeters, and Chamarajanagar, it's still less, 193 millimeters. So Mysore, Chamarajanagar, and Mandya is not that affected by rains. But when it comes to Kodagu, it's a different matter because monsoon this year, and we have been observing it since the last few years, that the advent of monsoon is on time, but then it doesn't get traction at all. But in the month of July and August, there are torrential rains, so the intensity is heavy. So for this year, for instance, during the month of June, Kodagu received about 18% below normal. But in the month of July, it is already 24% normal. It has received 1,721 millimeters of rainfall compared to 455 or 435 millimeters in June. So this has led to many landslips and landslides, and much of the flooding that takes place in the downstream is because of excess release of water from the dams, and that's what we are seeing in Kollegal that you mentioned. When the
Yeah, yeah.
outflow
No,
from
I was coming
Kabini,
to that. Outflow from KRS Kabini, these dams have been increased, and flood warnings, like you said, were issued, but flooding has happened. So, yeah, please also speak about how these districts are dealing with flood. What is the preparedness in these districts?
see, they have what you call district disaster management plan, then risk mitigatory committee, etc. And they have a template wherein they review the kind of monsoon preparedness that is required before the advent of monsoon. They have also identified a lot of potential or vulnerable places, to say so, vulnerable places which are vulnerable to floods due to sudden release of water. So based on that, they have identified some 92 villages in Mandya. They have identified about 92 villages in Mandya and similar number of 40 to 50 villages in Mysore and Chamarajanagar. But bulk of it is only, it's temporary. It is a matter of few hours, and people tend to know because they have a system of giving continuous alerts about the outflow from the dam, and people tend to voluntarily move out. And most of the flooding takes place in the low-lying areas in the downstream. So to that extent, Srirangapatna town per se is not affected, though movement of public towards the ghats, the river banks, etc., is prohibited.
Okay.
And when it comes to Kodagu, they have the disaster management, national NDRF, SDRF, and all. And so they do a kind of a recce before the advent of monsoon as to how to go about it in the vulnerable spots. So they do a dry run, and then they wait for monsoon to, you know, to, hello.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Then they wait for the onset of monsoon so that they can act. They are deployed at vulnerable, especially Bhagamandala, which, for instance, received about 255, 260 millimeters of rainfall for 3 continuous days. This leads to heavy inflow into the river, and then the KRS water level tends to go up. As a result of which, for reservoir management, they try to maintain the water levels at manageable levels, and then right now we have about 1.5 lakh cusecs of water being discharged daily for the last 2 or 3 days, and similar about 80,000 is the outflow from Kabini. So the cumulative outflow into the river is about 2 to 2.3 lakh. Now beyond Narsipura, these two rivers meet. That's the place where the confluence of Kabini and Kaveri takes place. And the impact of the 2.3 lakh cuseck is felt there and beyond that in the downstream. And there are 16 villages there, mostly in Kodagu taluk. They have what you call relief centers, which have been established. And as of now, I think about 200 people are already relocated. But this is basically a temporary affair.
Yeah. And then the relocation, I mean, after the flood subsides.
Yeah. Once the water recedes, then they return.
Okay.
About 16 villages in Kodagu.
All right. Okay. And Kodagu?
As far as connectivity is concerned, it has not been hampered. Bangalore-Mysuru roads, Bangalore-Mysuru railway line, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Now, Kodagu, it has its own problems. You had about 24 landslips in the last 1 month alone. These are in the interiors. So far, thankfully, the major roads, connectivity to Mysuru or Mangalore, I think, or even Bangalore, has not been affected. But August is a month where people tend to be wary of, because the last few years, they have been experiencing torrential downpour during the month of August. So whatever deficit rainfall in Shirur trying to get neutralized by the first or second week of August. So it is not that the rains are spread uniformly over 2 or 3 months. 1 month of rainfall kind of lashes in about a week's time, and that leads to a lot of disaster.
Okay. I mean, we are speaking a lot about landslides and landslips. Especially the landslide in Wayanad especially has shaken people up in districts in Karnataka, in vulnerable districts in Karnataka, which, according to one KSDMA study, was Uttara Kannada, Shivamogga, Chikmagaluru, Udupi, Dakshina Kannada, Kodagu, and Hassan. These landslides, and have led to a lot of, they lead to a lot of loss of life, economic losses, and like you said, the disruption in connectivity. Anil sir, I'll bring you in here because one landslip that really was in the news was for our state was the Doddathappale, near the Doddathappale village that happened, which disrupted connectivity in the NH75, the National Highway 75 connecting Bangalore and Mangaluru that you spoke of. This stretch has seen close to 3 or 4 landslips in the last, starting July 17th, there was one. In the last 15 days, yes, about 4 landslips. And every time it is cleared, another has happened. This happened on July 30th. Another landslip happened on July 31st night. Road and rail connectivity, as you said, has been affected. For this stretch, what are authorities doing now? What is happening?
No. Before dwelling into that, let me just give a figure about the rainfall. Have some figures. So for the last 2 months, the Karnataka state as a whole received 30% excess rainfall. As against the normal 471 mm, it got 611 mm. In the coastal Karnataka, as against the normal rainfall of 1973 millimeters, it got 2510 mm. And the Malnad Karnataka got 1242 actual rainfall as against 954. So, in fact, the state as a whole received excess rainfall. So, than the normal this one. And yesterday, that is between Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, Udupi district Karkala taluk, one place called Renjala. Renjala is a place where you get these shilpis. Place got 319 rainfall. Imagine.
Okay.
And in Dakshina Kannada, Shirtadi near Mudbidri, that got 269 rainfall. So these two places, rivers Swarna and Palguni flow actually. So this caused heavy flooding in and around Udupi and also Mangalore today actually. Anyway, so going back to this connectivity issue, no. So this National Highway 75, well, I'll just go back a few years ago. The Shiradigat has been a vital link for the coast as well as Bangalore for movement of goods and passengers, as I said earlier. So more than I think 600 to 700 buses, private as well as KSRTC, operate during the night through this ghat as of now. And goods vehicles, no, right from six-wheel trucks to 24 or 30-wheel trucks, they move through this ghat actually.
Yeah.
So when this iron ore export was at the peak during some 15, 20 years back, the Shiradi Ghat stretch, by Shiradi Ghat stretch, I mean the one between Maranhalli and in Hassan district and Gundia in Dakshin Kannada district had almost worn out. So it was physically impossible to travel on that stretch. And then the Union Road Transport Minister, late Oscar Fernandez, then got funds for it and got it concreted, the 21-kilometer stretch. So in the meanwhile, what has happened is this four-laning the national highways that started during A.B. Vajpayee's tenure, no? During that period, that Bangalore Pune highway got widened, and by 2015, it was the Bangalore highway was called NH48 at that time. By 2015, the 170-kilometer stretch of Nelamangala to Hassan, that was widened into four-lane. But the highway between Hassan and BC Road, that is near Mangalore, that's its widening was taken up only in 2017
Okay.
by two packages. But the work came to an abrupt halt, I think, after 1.5 and 2 years. The Hassan Sakaleshpur stretch, the contractor declared insolvency and went out. And in the Addahole BC Road stretch in Dakshina Kannada, the contractor went out of the contract because there was a change in the scope of work. So in it, the National Highways Authorities of India, no, which was getting the work executed under EPC mode, that is engineering, procurement, and construction mode, where the government itself funds the project and then collects the toll. No, so NHA took another 1 year to finalize the new contractors, and the work again started in 2021. The work is yet to get completed, four-laning work.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile,
Right.
what has happened is between Sakaleshpur and Marnahalli, that's a hilly terrain. Though it is closer to Shiradi Ghat, people call it Shiradi Ghat, but it's a hilly terrain, about 10 kilometers. Initially, the NHA did not want to widen it to four-lane, but later it thought of widening it to four-lane, and the work started, I think, about the four-lane work started in 2022. But the stretch had witnessed massive landslips in the area 2018 itself, when the entire Ghat section and coastal area witnessed torrential rains. So there was a huge landslip. One tanker was washed away, and some two people had died at that very same Doddathappale village. So I have been seeing these landslips ever since 2018. But the widening work of the highway, no, that started some 3-4 years later. And I do not feel the highway work has been the reason, or highway work or the hill cutting work for the highway
Yeah.
may not be the actual reason for the landslips in that area. There is something else.
Which is, if you would like to elaborate, please.
So this, this Sakaleshpur taluk, the government had planned this Ettinahole water drinking water project. They have named it very wisely as a drinking water project. In essence, it was a river diversion project actually. If they had called it like that, the environment laws would not have allowed it.
Yeah.
So they have wisely named it as a drinking water project, and they did not get any EIA done, environment impact assessment, as far as I know. So their plan was to build check dams or smaller dams to the tributaries of Netravati at five or seven places.
Yeah.
They are at all of them are west flowing rivers or streams. They were joining the Netravati. So
Okay.
their water was planned to be diverted to the east towards Bengaluru or Chikbalapura or whatever. The ultimate aim, what I feel is it is to satiate the need of Bangalore than Chikbalapura, whatever.
Okay.
So they have built those reservoirs in the what you can say ecologically sensitive area, damaged extensive areas of forest, Shola forests, I would say. Shola forest laid huge pipelines. The a pipe pipe can carry a truck. That means facilitate the movement of a truck. That big pipeline. So everywhere, indiscriminately, without any planning, without any assessment, pipes have been laid. So
Yeah.
day before yesterday, there's a road itself vanished in Harley.
Correct.
Harley
Harley's. Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
can see the ethanol pipeline buried under the road. Actually, people say that after that pipeline was laid, no, some 18-meter wide and 15-meter depth earth was excavated to lay the pipeline. So the
Okay.
rainwater got accumulated in the trench and dislodged the hillock itself. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this is one of the such examples that is causing the landslips in Sakaleshpur taluk, including areas adjacent to NH75, because the this ethanol project work is going on this NH75 stretch also. Adjacent to one reservoir is built there. Many pipelines have been laid in that NH75 area, as well as the Bangalore railway line. No, that is also, I feel, under threat. So.
Okay.
This is my even local people also have been blaming the ethanol
Correct.
project
Yes.
for all the
Yes.
mistakes
Yes.
in Sakaleshpur taluk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Krishna Kumar sir, it's the same thing in Kodagu as well.
Oh, well,
Because
as far as Kodagu is concerned,
the hilly districts is a lot of development works because it is a tourist spot as well, right? So take us through
unbridled,
that.
unbridled promotion of tourism,
Yeah.
unrestrained development, so-called, and absolutely no concern for conservation. So all this has led to the kind of situation that Kodagu finds itself in. The landscape of Kodagu, if you see, is no different from that of Wayanad, but the problems are also similar. There is encroachment, and there is what we call. None of the eco-sensitive zones have been cared for properly. None of them, and these landslips in Kodagu, they are by a combination of natural and human factors. The region's topography, geology, climate contributes to its vulnerability, but the anthropogenic pressure also adds to it. And here we are talking about change of land use pattern, then unbridled homestays, then unrestrained resorts coming up. Now
Right.
Kodagu, it cannot take any more of those connectivity projects, linear projects. But we already have about a I'd say about a 2,000 crore project of 4-lane Kushalnagar to Mysuru and linking it to Madikeri.
Yeah.
It is totally unwarranted. I don't know whoever even sought for it in the first place. The existing, topography of the hill cannot take the load anymore. During the advent of monsoon, the district administration tends to ban the movement of multi-axle vehicles. There for a specific reason. That is because the soil is kind of saturated with water. Due to rains, and then you have the probability or chances of landslips. So to prevent that, but now they are going with new projects. Then you have the railway line project. This is going to be disastrous. Today morning, I was talking to an environmentalist in Kodagu, and he was calling for a river basin project, rather river basin conservation project, instead of all these development works. So what is the need of the hour is to protect the Kaveri basin as such. That is the need of the hour. But unfortunately, it is not happening. What we see is, ad hoc measures during rainy seasons or towards conservation or to protect. But then the district administration cannot do anything on its own. It's part of the government policy. And here, politicians across all political parties are to be blamed, because not only has the Madhav Gadgil Committee report on Western Ghat conservation not been implemented, even the much diluted Kasturi Rangan report too has been opposed.
Correct.
So with this, it's just an ad hoc approach for everything.
Okay. Anil sir, you have something to say?
I have to mention one thing actually.
Yes.
See, we are talking about rains and other things. Nowadays, no, what is happening is, as soon as there is heavy rain in the Ghat section, in the Western Ghats, within 3 to 4 hours, the coastal area gets flooded. So it is nothing but a flash flood. So what is the reason? So according to environmentalist Dinesh Holla, no, he's Sahyadri Sanchaya's in charge, who has extensively tracked this Western Ghats stage. This Ethinola project and other projects that have drastically destroyed the Shola forest, Shola area. Shola forest used to absorb the rainwater, hold the water for some time, and the water slowly percolated to the riverine system. So what is now happening is, because of the destruction of these Shola forests and the grasslands, whatever rainwater falls on the ghats, falls on the hills, it immediately gushes down to the river system and creates flash flood. So in the result, what is happening is, after December, the rivers become very thin, and I think in 2020 or 21, Netravati had become completely dry. It had stopped flowing in Uppinangadi itself. Uppinangadi it's way above Mangalore, and Netravati has been a perennial river actually. We can see such a pattern in other rivers also, originating from the Western Ghats like Tunga, Bhadra, that flow westwards. No, they also become dry in the months of March and April these days. So basically what is happening is, unbridled, as Mr. Krishna Kumar said, no, unbridled tourism, homestays, and other usage of the forest land or the eco-sensitive region has been affecting the water system also. One has to be careful. The authorities also have to be careful before undertaking any projects in these vulnerable areas. So that's what the importance of the Gadgil Committee report or Kasturi Committee report. No, they become significant in that regard. Actually, I feel these politicians are misleading the people by giving a false impression about these reports. Neither Gadgil report nor Kasturi report speak about vacating or dislodging the original residents or affecting their agriculture occupation. Nothing. There is no such thing actually mentioned. But these politicians, they are creating fear psychosis among people that your lives will be lost if these reports are implemented. So this is a very serious issue.
Yeah, and this is something between ourselves we can't find a solution to, because the government has to, be the one to think on it, implement it. So, Krishna Kumar sir, any last thoughts on that?
The only silver lining to this cloud, I say, is yesterday the revenue minister was there, and for the first time, a senior minister was speaking about the environmental damage that human anthropogenic pressure, or our development, so-called, has caused to the place, and the need to, curb it, bring about hope. It results in some policy initiative, so that, because we don't have time with us anymore, and these policies will take a long time to get implemented. And by then, the damage has been done considerably. For the nature to recoup and recover, you need to give it some more time. And it's not going to happen overnight. But if you don't act now, then you're going to lose.
Yeah. Rightly said. So until then, I think, there have been heavy to very heavy rains forecast again for the next 5 days. And it looks like we will continue to battle more floods and more landslips. And like you rightly said, something has to be done at a policy level. And we hope, with Krishna Bairegowda actually saying it out loud, maybe there will be some sort of momentum and movement on that.
The government should take a relook on that Mekadatu project also. That will also drastically damage the ecosystem.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for joining us today. So we will continue to bring you more such discussions and stories Please continue to watch The Hindu, subscribe The Hindu, and read the paper. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.